start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I live by the old code of second floor!
Why look for a scientific explanation when you can put blind trust in an invisible Sky Daddy?
Sky Daddy all the way.
You want your crappy stick car? Turn up full volume, why don't you?
Aubrey, weird, I can't even get through my couch!
Alrighty. Welcome back to Second Floor Experience, everyone. We have a traveler in our midst that has just gotten back today, and he's here filming the pod. So welcome back, Zach, everyone. Yeah.
Pleasure. It's weird being here on a Thursday.
Yeah, it is odd.
Like, it feels like tomorrow should be Tuesday.
And it's not.
It's not.
It's going to be Friday. So, you want to just give everyone a little rundown of where you were?
Yeah, I got a surprise text from my dad on Wednesday night last week. Basically, he texted me and was like, hey, if I got a flight for you tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., would you be down to go camping with us in Tennessee? And I was like, huh? And I couldn't fly out that Thursday. I told him if I could do Friday, I could do that. Then the flights skyrocketed. So then he's like, okay, well, would you drive to Tennessee? So he paid. It's for my mom's birthday. Mm-hmm. So her birthday was on Sunday. So they were taking a little trip from Florida to Tennessee for a little camping trip. And so he was kind of surprising her for her birthday. And so, yeah, he paid for a rental car for me to drive from Austin, Texas to basically Knoxville. I guess Townsend, Tennessee. It's a small town. I think it's near Knoxville.
Jeez,
but yeah, so that was a 15-hour drive. And then we camped for 2 days. And then I drove from Tennessee back to Florida with them. That was another 10-hour drive. So a lot of driving. But it was good to see family, and it was good just to take like a random trip. I don't know. It was fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, I hadn't done a road trip like that in a while.
I was going to say, it's been a while since you've driven.
Yeah. Honestly, dude, I kind of enjoy it.
Really?
Like, not all the time, but like I kind of got tired of like the drive between Austin or like Texas and Florida, mm-hmm. just because it's the same drive. I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like those road trips where I'm just alone, it's kind of like, I don't really know how else to put it, but they're almost, this is gonna sound super like weird, but
mm-hmm.
they're almost like kind of spiritual in a sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, for this drive, I'm alone in my car for 15 hours.
Mm.
And like, that's just 15 hours to just sit and think. And I feel like that, like a lot of those times is when I feel like God has me alone.
Mm.
And like, whatever he wants to speak to me or whatever, like I'm available,
Yeah.
or receptive.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, I was gonna say therapeutic.
Yeah, it is very therapeutic. Yeah.
I feel like you don't really mind being by yourself.
I don't. It depends.
For long periods of time.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like when you know you're gonna go be with people later on.
Yeah. It's like I don't mind it, but if I have too much of it, it does bother me. Like I do want to be with people at some point. I feel like I've always wrestled with that because I do think I'm an introvert mostly, but like if I'm alone too much.
Mhm.
I feel like I have like two different batteries. It's like my
Yeah.
social battery and my
Alone.
alone like solitary
Mm.
battery. And both need to be equal for me to feel good.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I think about like, I feel like there's this sort of like Instagram-y idea of like the male, mostly male idea of like wanting desire to just like drop everything and go into the woods and like
Yes.
live alone or whatever. And there's this, you know, I think there's this guy that did it like way before it was cool, and I think it was in like the 70s or 80s. He went to Alaska and like basically homesteaded, but he brought a camera with him
Hmm.
and like documented his whole like rest of his life out there, and like completely lived off the land, self-sustaining, wrote a bunch. And I feel like it like I feel like that's just romanticized a lot.
Mm.
And at least for myself,
Yeah.
I mean, I've thought about that before, but I just would probably like, let's just say I could survive and like do all the
Yeah.
things. I just would not like being that alone.
Yeah.
I don't think I would enjoy it.
I agree. There are days where I'm like, that sounds nice.
It's
bro."
yeah, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
a mental escape.
Yeah, that's
more
what it
than-
is. It's
more
an
than
escape.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah, but I agree. Like I could do it for like a month, maybe.
Yeah.
And then maybe I could do it for I could see myself doing it for maybe a year, like max. Like that's max. But like I enjoy sharing my life with other people,
Yeah.
especially like my close
Mm.
relationships. So that would be really tough to go without.
Yeah, I think the modern version of that is that show Alone.
Yeah. My parents watched that. Yeah.
That one's pretty wild. Sick. Yeah, that one always
Yeah.
gets me. They're like they always get all set up, and then they just basically have nothing to do, and then all I can think about is like getting out of there.
Yeah.
And it seems like the ones that win are just like, I don't know, they're like kind of crazy a little bit.
Really?
I don't know. I guess I haven't really watched in a while, but I know that Luke from the Outdoor Boys channel was talking about how he wouldn't like it because of how obviously like crappy the food is,
Yeah.
because you just gotta keep basically
Yeah.
eating the same thing if you can get it. And that's the thing I love about his stuff is like he may be super cold and he may be super tired, but he's gonna eat good. He's gonna eat good.
He does.
It's always like some kind of like gourmet camping meal with fresh bread and honey.
Yeah, he'll make stuff. I'm like, bro, I never even thought about making that in my kitchen.
I know. I know. It's like, yeah, I brought a vacuum sealed moose tenderloin soup with lentils, and you're just like, what?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I shot the moose, last year and had it processed. And I'm just like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, how crazy is it that he's like retiring now?
That is
Gosh.
crazy. Good for him, dude.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I know.
Man.
I think it's only been like 2 years since he really blew up. I know they've been doing YouTube for a while, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's only been like 2 years, I think, since.
I heard that he's trying to help his son
Yeah,
do some kind of YouTube channel.
yeah. His son has a YouTube channel.
Mm.
His oldest son, I think his other two also want a YouTube channel too. But I mean, yeah. I mean, his videos are. I think he said because when people like basically take his content and put it on reels and shorts and stuff,
Oh yeah.
I think just that alone is like 400 billion views.
Gosh, bro.
Is that crazy to think about?
That is so many views.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. I would say he is probably, I think we talked about Survivor shows last time, but like honestly, out of every Survivor show that I've ever watched, I'd probably say his are my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, I really
Even
think
over
so.
Survivor Man?
Even over Survivor
Dang,
Man.
dude.
Even over Survivor Man, because it just feels the most authentic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
Like Survivor Man is nostalgic,
Mm.
but Outdoor Boys it gets me.
I
Dude.
mean, you can't really get more authentic than him.
You can't.
Like, even Survivor Man, as revolutionary as Survivor Man was,
Yeah.
like the first, I mean, really the first guy to bring a camera and do everything on his own.
Yeah.
Like, he still had, you know, like a whole TV, like whatever TV channel was supporting him
Yeah.
to do that. But like this
Right.
guy is literally, he just started a YouTube channel, which is crazy, dude.
Yeah, I've always wondered like of how when he's in those freezing temperatures, how he has enough like GoPro cameras or GoPro batteries.
Dude, yeah. I wonder the same thing, bro.
I don't know if it's just the one that you have or what, but
Bro, that thing gets
mean,
hot.
yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
got to be like the newer ones. You got to have like the newer
I'm sure.
ones.
I'm sure.
They've got to be
Yeah.
a lot better. 'Cause they're probably
I wonder that with like all those videos. Like, there's one guy that my older brother watches. I can't remember his name, but he's out like fishing all the time on his own, and he'll have like cameras set up everywhere, bro. Like angles everywhere,
yeah.
and like my assumption is just that, you know, he has maybe 8, 9 GoPro cameras set up all around, and they're just constantly running.
Yeah.
But that's a lot to keep up with, dude.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so funny because he was the main guy, Luke from Outdoor Boys, he was a like traffic attorney before.
Really?
Yeah. And I've heard him say before that he works like way harder on the YouTube channel, like way more hours,
Really?
way harder than the YouTube channel than he ever did as a lawyer. Which is kind of crazy because I feel like lawyers are known for working super long weeks.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes sense that if I'm pretty sure he planned all of his trips. He, had to pack everything, go actually do the trip, film the trip, make it back home, and then unpack and then edit, upload all the footage.
He did the editing?
I'm pretty sure he did.
No way.
all that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Which is crazy.
Yeah. Dude, that is crazy. I mean, going back to like the alone thing, I think in a scenario like that, like I think I'm realizing it's easier for me to be alone
Mhm.
when I have a task to
Mm.
complete, you know. If I'm alone just doing nothing,
Mhm.
that's when it sucks.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I'm going out alone and I know I have to like survive for, I don't know, a week or
Yeah.
like 3 days, and and maybe I have like an objective to get to, like a point or something. Like those things make it easier because you have like goals instead of just sitting out there in the wilderness, like just like
twiddling
sitting
your
there.
thumbs.
Yeah. So that's how I feel like when I'm just alone in my room or
Yeah.
something. If I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs,
Dude.
I hate that feeling. I hate that.
Yeah. Boredom can be
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
huge curse.
Yeah. That's why with the drive, it's like, okay, I'm just putting on music
Yeah.
and I have a destination. So that's it.
Yeah. Dude, I have a little clip to show you. I want to get your
A clip.
your reaction.
I did listen to the Sean Ryan and Tucker Carlson
Did you?
podcast. Oh yeah, you were on the phone with me when I told you about it,
Oh yeah.
dude. And maybe like Sean Ryan a lot more.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well what about it?
He's just so level-headed, dude. Like his approach to every scenario is just, which I'm sure it comes from his military background, or I guess he was a Navy SEAL, right?
Mhm.
and CIA. So, I mean, he's probably just used to approaching situations tactically.
Yeah.
But you just tell like everything, like all the difficult subjects that they talk about, the things he's gone through this podcast and everything. He's just so like level-minded. So it's cool to see and hear his perspective.
Have you like ever watched his actual podcast before?
I watched a few of them.
Okay.
Yeah. But and I mean I like him a lot, but that one I don't know. It made me like him more because Tucker Carlson like presses him on things, you know.
Yeah.
Because on his podcast he's interviewing people, but it's like you don't really hear him being interviewed a lot, you know. So
yeah, I've seen some pretty good clips. I haven't like watched
Yeah.
the actual podcast, but
okay, so
okay, check this out.
Maybe sin isn't what we thought. Maybe we're not
No.
broken. Maybe God sees us as already good. Maybe sin isn't what we thought. Maybe we're not broken. Maybe God sees us as already good. Maybe sin isn't what we thought. Maybe we're not broken. Maybe God sees us as already good.
That's it.
Because in the Bible, God said it was good after He created us. So what if?
Oh, I guess.
There is no hell. And what if heaven is right now?
what is this video?
Okay.
What does the title say?
It says this might be the most convincing deception yet. Okay, be honest. Do you think that, like, what? Do you think that those are real?
They looked real.
Yeah,
What
I
okay,
thought so too.
Okay. I'll tell you exactly what like the thought process I just went through. Okay. I saw the first guy. I was like, okay. And then when I played the second guy, I was like, oh, is this like an AI recreation or like an AI whatever? And then went to the third guy, I thought, oh, is this like a mainstream media type thing where all these pastors are saying the same thing?
Oh,
Or
okay.
that's where like my brain went.
Yeah.
But then my initial thought was AI when it went to the second dude because
Okay.
it was like same color. I don't know, like the same. It was weird.
Okay. Check this out.
You remember there was a story that came out.
Even robots. Like it or loathe it, ChatGPT is part of society and now part of the congregation. As Germany's churches experience a drop in numbers of pastors, this church in the Bavarian town of Fürth has the answer by using artificial intelligence. During service, this avatar preached to more than 300 people for Mass. But can it really commune with robots?
I was pleasantly surprised at how well it worked. But one thing I definitely missed, of course, was simply emotionality.
It was exciting, interesting, but for me, it was too monotonous. The avatar spoke too quickly. Sometimes you couldn't really think in your head during the service. It wasn't personal enough. So, in this church, worshippers are no longer inspired by the words of a preacher. And while some may say this is sacrilegious, the theologian behind it insists this is the future of worship.
I would say 98% comes from the machine, generally speaking. And what we're going to see is an effort of us as human beings staying out of the church service.
The 40-minute service
real, dude?
writing the sermon, prayers,
This is
and even
real.
accompanying music. Intrigued and filled with anticipation, churchgoers queued for an hour to get front pew seats and find out just how it works.
I told the artificial intelligence, we are at the church congress. You are a preacher. And the motto is, now is the time. What would a church service look like? And then spits out a rough framework first.
Why is that every church's motto?
I don't know,
Now,
dude.
do this introduction. And then she writes this introduction. And that goes on and on. You end up with a pretty solid church service, I would say.
Whether you're a believer or not, the use of AI arguably brings services into the 21st century, allowing them to become more accessible and inclusive. But there's certainly no doubt it takes practice what you preach to a whole new level. Shouty Edward Slashley, TRT World.
Okay, so if you're just listening to that, basically, it was like a video of a Lutheran church in Germany that essentially had AI run their service. Like, preached a sermon. I think he said that they did worship too with AI. But okay, so when I
Holy
first watched those 3 videos,
Yeah.
like it did not occur to me until like maybe the very end. It was like, these look a little bit weird, but I did not like immediately be like, oh, that's AI.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
But like when I hear it back, I'm like, okay, I can tell.
Yeah.
Obviously, but like, I don't know, dude. That's weird. And so the whole video basically is this guy talking about like just those types of videos, because he made those himself. This guy who did the YouTube video, who's like doing the YouTube video, like talking in this YouTube video.
Oh.
He made those first 3
Oh,
videos
okay,
himself. Which is crazy.
That is crazy. How'd you find this video?
I don't know, it just popped up on my feed.
Really?
Yeah. And so I felt like that, like I felt like it brought up some really interesting concepts and implications.
I mean, dude.
So the way that he takes it is, he is proposing that like these types of AI videos, it's going to be like super, super easy to like lead people astray from biblical teaching. And if they're this good right now, like imagine them in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, you know, this could usher in the rapture, the end times, which I feel like is funny, but it is also like very, I mean, if you just think about, when did ChatGPT come out? It was like 2 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Like 2020, end of 2022.
Somewhere on there. I forget.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't been out that long. And I feel like already it has, I mean, there's been so many.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like so many different kind of like renditions of it.
Yeah.
Or I guess not renditions of it, but just other AIs like since then that have been like put out there, like Grok.
Yeah. Is that X?
That's X's, yeah.
X's. Okay, yeah. It was November 30th, 2022. Was when the first first ChatGPT launched publicly. Which that was just such a wild time.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean,
gosh, it's so crazy. It's only been out for what?
Basically 2 years.
Yeah.
2.5.
And it's already, I mean, it's like, how many people do you know use ChatGPT, bro? Like everyone uses it, or some kind of AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting. I mean, like the implications of using AI.
Yeah.
As your pastor.
Well, have you seen Google's new VO 3 or something like that? It's their new text to video AI software. And it's like the most realistic one out there right now, I think.
Really?
Like open to the public, I think. I'm seeing videos of it on X, and dude, it is crazy, the videos that people are making. Like it'll make videos of, a lot of the ones that I see are like fake street interviews where, you know, you see people on TikTok all the time doing like a street interview, and it's like, it looks like that and it looks real.
No way.
Yeah, it looks real, dude. It's crazy. Gosh. You can only tell it's AI because of just slight mannerisms, you know, or just like what they say. Yeah. But it looks real. Like if you showed that video to someone 10 years ago, or like 10, 15 years ago, you would probably think it's a real video. Yeah. That's how real it looks. Wow. So, and I would say the same for that. Yeah. Those first few clips I saw.
Well, and I think what's more telling is us being young people who basically were like the first generation to grow up with
Ye-
technology from birth,
Yes.
like,
yeah.
pretty much like cell phones essentially,
Yeah.
or the internet
Like
at
the
least.
digital age or whatever.
Like
yeah.
us having a hard time, or like having to take like a second look
Yeah.
to like really see if it's AI or not is
a
a
little
problem.
concerning.
Because I mean, anyone over the age of, no offense, probably like 40,
I mean, yeah.
I mean, probably is not going to be able to tell.
Yeah. Dude. I mean, okay, so like first question off the bat. Using AI in church. I mean, do you think AI has like any place in church at all? Or
I mean, yeah. I don't think there's any way to get around it.
okay, yeah.
I mean, I think having it preach the sermon is pretty wild.
I mean, that's pretty insane, dude. That's
I feel like it's a genius like marketing thing. You know, I think you could tell it to preach like super sound doctrines,
yeah.
which would be weird to watch, right? Like, but I think obviously like the danger of it is making crazy videos on heresies and just
Yeah, yeah. And like in a spiritual sense, it's like I think most Christians would say it lacks like the spiritual aspect, I guess.
I would say so.
But
Yeah, because I think then you get into like, does AI have a soul?
yes.
You know, or like those
Like,
insane.
can God speak to you through
That-
an AI sermon? That's the question, dude.
Oh my gosh! I feel like that's a debate you and Sam would get into by
Oh,
the fire
dude.
for 2 hours and go in a
Gosh.
circle.
I already know what Sam would say.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I mean, bro, that's
I mean, can God work through AI? Of course,
like he can, yes.
but I mean, obviously, those German people, their main pushback was like, there's like obviously no emotion
yeah.
or
Yeah. Okay, well here's an
spiritual
example.
draw.
So like a few weeks ago, remember I showed you that Optimus Prime motivational speech?
Yeah.
Right? Like, dude, that was like kind of legit.
Yeah, it was.
Like I listened to that and I enjoyed it. And I was like, dang, I feel good. You know, like
Yeah.
and it was like silly, and I knew it was silly. I did it kind of like, I mean, mostly as a joke, but
and then ended up enjoying it.
yeah, that was fully AI though. Someone literally just put in a prompt of like, hey, write a speech in Optimus Prime's voice. It wasn't even a video. It's just like a still image of Optimus Prime. You know?
Yeah, it was, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
So, I mean, that obviously had an impact on me. But-
Jeez.
Gosh, dude, that sounds so ridiculous. But not just me though. Like those, bro. That channel, whoever's doing it, like he makes videos of all kinds of different characters. Like Master Chief from Halo does a speech on, I don't know, like determination or like random crap like that, you know?
Never giving up.
And literally like all the comments are, dang, this was actually really good. I actually needed this. Or like people,
Yeah.
there's like it's people respond to it, you know? It has an impact. Which is crazy. So that alone, like, I mean, could God speak through an AI sermon? I mean, I don't know, man.
Okay, so another thing that he was talking about was there's basically like 3 versions of AI that are sort of like, I guess 3 categories. There's below human intelligence, AI. There's on par intelligent AI with humans. And then there's, which I guess in the video he was saying that that's like kind of where we're at right now, is there's like AI that is capable of having the same, I guess, type of intelligence as human, which that's a whole other thing, but that's just what he was saying in the video. But he said that like basically we're in an arms race right now for what's called like a super AI,
Yeah.
right? Which is like
a super agent.
like a supercomputer, but it's AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, China came out with that AI DeepSeek, and it like tanked the markets for a little while because of how quickly they came out with it. Is what at least is what he was saying. And so he was just basically like positing, you know, okay, if we're at this point right now and we, you know, there's no at least available to the public super AIs yet.
Yeah.
You know, then what possibly could be the implications of like that kind of software in like the spiritual sense being developed over the next 5 to 10 years. And you know, he was really talking about it like being used to mislead people in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I feel like that's the most realistic outcome, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the government using it or some kind of power using it to manipulate the masses, I guess. But the conversation is so tough because so many people have different like beliefs on AI in general. Like some people would argue it is already at human level intelligence. Other people will say, oh no, it just gets all of its information from the internet. So it's like, it's just pulling data. It's not actually at a human level intelligence, right? Like some people will argue that it will never be able to reach human level intelligence. And some people argue that it's like, it for sure will. It's like, there's so many different aspects of it. But I think either way, I think it'd be a little, I feel like it'd be a little irresponsible to just think that it's not possible. You know what I mean? And like not think about the implications of AI becoming as intelligent as a human being, if not more.
Yeah. And I think I sort of see comparisons. People talk about like the age of the internet and that sort of coming about being like similar to what's going on right now with AI, where people are like, do we, you know, completely do away with this? Do we try to embrace it? Whatever, is this going to be like a fad? And I think people are kind of coming to the conclusion more and more that it's basically like the age of the internet, but on steroids by like times 1,000, times like quantum, because of how quickly it can learn. Like the sort of like quantum like evolution of technology, it just continues to grow, right?
Yes.
That I think it's it's similar in the sense of people like not wanting to accept it or whatever, but I think it's obviously like it's a totally different category now. But it's just interesting to, I don't know. It's just interesting.
I kind of see it kind of like the atomic bomb. Like when, you know, all the scientists around the time figured out like the possibility of there being this insane bomb.
Yeah.
It was like this race.
Right.
For everyone to try, like, who's going to figure it out first?
Yeah.
And so it was like, once that train started, there was no stopping it. Like, someone's going to figure out how to build the bomb. Yeah. And, like, Americans just did it first. So I feel like it's the same thing with AI now. Like, once we figured out we could actually do it, then, like, people who think that we can just get away from it now, like, I don't think the train's stopping it. I think this train is freaking full speed ahead. Like, someone's
Full steam ahead.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is like for for super intelligent AI like above human level, whether you think we can get there or not, people are going to be trying to get there. That's why I think. I think that train
Is
is going. Yes.
Yeah, I think what's this is interesting to think about, because what's wild is I think it's really clear now based on things that have come out that like the government has things far more advanced, or basically like delays releasing as much as possible, delays releasing things to the public that they have had for a while.
Yeah.
I wonder though if AI is one of those things where I don't know if the gap, this is just my own opinion, but my own wonderings, but I wonder if the gap for that is much smaller
I can see that.
than like I guess hard technology or
Yeah.
other, I don't know, I just think that it would be too hard to keep, and all my infinite experience and
Yeah.
the government.
But, yeah. It does. I could see that because it seems like AI is more accessible
Yeah.
to the public.
Like I'm sure they
Um,
get the most advanced version first,
Probably. Yeah.
but like I wonder how much control. That's the thing. It's like
Yes.
I see how okay, you find an alien spacecraft, like okay, you can control that being worked on in Area 51 or whatever. Like you know, even like a software you can control.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Or like a weapon or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
But like something like AI that is learning on its own and able to operate on its own has got to be a whole new level of how do we keep this thing a secret, or how do we
Yes.
and how do you keep that in a box? I mean,
Dude,
I don't
on Sean Ryan and Tucker talk about this,
really?
where they're talking about Neuralink, and which that's a whole other thing. But Tucker Carlson basically says that, like, from the people that he knows on the inside of Neuralink, what he's heard from them is that the whole, like, the real point, like the real drive behind Neuralink
Mm-hmm.
is that they think if humans don't have it, like basically they think that Neuralink is humans' only way, is our only chance to be able to keep up with AI.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dang.
Which is kind of wild, dude.
That is fascinating.
So then Tucker was like, well, with AI, like, I mean, why not? Like, you know, AI, like humans control the power centers, like the power plants, or like wherever all the data and information is being stored, right? Like humans control that, so just pull the plug basically, like blow up the place, you know, like
Yeah.
kill the AI. But he was saying that based on like sources he's heard from, that
I saw that clip.
Yes, yeah, they basically explained to him that we aren't sure if the AI is lying to us or not about like where it's getting its power from, which is insane, dude. Like, gosh. In my opinion, though, dude, it's like, who cares? Kill it anyways, you know, bro. Like, I'm not trying to end up in like the freaking Matrix, dude. Gosh. But, anyways, like, going back to the start of this conversation, I've heard that argued a lot, or at least theorized, that AI, internet, whatever, could be a way for like the Antichrist or something to deceive people. Because if you have something that's like beyond human intelligence, I mean, and it can do things humans can't, like, in all things. I mean, that's basically a god. like from a human perspective. Like that's like right now, like humans have dominion over like every other species on Earth. Right? So
Yeah.
like if you have this other thing out there, whether you think it's alive or not,
Yeah.
it will have dominion over you if it can do everything better than you, you know,
Dude.
like, and that's just so it would make sense for people to, you know, worship it, or maybe not even worship it, but just like, I don't know, kind of like submit to it, I guess.
Yeah. I see what you're
So
saying.
yeah,
Like, how do you steward AI?
I mean, yeah.
Ah, gosh. Man.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that one book I read, that Patrick Bet-David recommended, was so good, dude.
Oh, dude, I was thinking about that the other day.
Bro,
Because you had some super interesting thoughts when you were reading that book.
yeah, I wrote down some quotes. I wonder if I still have it. Wait, see if I can pull it up. I can pull up the book too. And his name is, what's his name? Max Tegmark is the author. Yeah, he says things like, traditionally, humans have often founded our self-worth on the idea of human exceptionalism, the condition that we're the smartest entities on the planet and therefore unique and superior. The rise of AI will force us to abandon this and become more humble. He says, the first ultra intelligent machine is the last invention that man need ever make. Provided that the machine is docile enough to tell us how to keep it under control.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I think obviously for anybody it's a tough subject, but especially for believers, like anyone who has a faith, like that brings in a whole nother level of problems.
Yeah, I asked ChatGPT, how could AI be a part or the cause of the fourth turning? And it did not disappoint. It said that it could be the great disruptor of institutions. Institutions are built on information control and gatekeeping. AI blows up the gatekeeping model. Everyone can generate expert level text, images, and video. That accelerates the collapse of institutional trust, a key marker of the fourth turning. Number 2 would be a mass identity crisis. AI reshapes what it means to be human. Our value in work, creativity, and even relationships being challenged. Economic upheaval. The middle class is already strained, and mass automation could ignite large-scale unrest or restructuring of the economy. That pressure could trigger revolutionary change. AI and the weaponization of information. In past turnings, physical war dominated. Today, information is the battlefield. Ooh. AI is already being used in cyber warfare, election manipulation, propaganda, and culture wars. Combine that with hyperpolarization, and you get a reality where no one agrees on what's true. Jeez.
I mean, I feel like we're already there.
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
AI as a catalyst for new systems. The foreturning always leads to the rebirth of new civic and cultural structures. AI could help build the new order post-crisis, new models of democracy, economy, education, spirituality. Jeez. Is AI our Tower of Babel or our Ark?
What a way to put it.
That's a
oh my gosh.
question.
I have to say it certainly feels more like a Tower of Babel. In a lot of ways. But at the same time, I know that probably a lot of people were saying the same thing about the internet. Like when it was coming out, right?
Yeah.
Or iPhones or whatever. Like there's always that pushback on technology that it's gonna like, take over or whatever. And then we just kind of adapt to it. And so I think that could be where AI goes, and that's all, but it could also go much further. Like we just don't know. But using AI in a church setting, that's honestly, I've never thought about that. I don't know why, but
right?
That's super interesting.
Man, the day that I walk into church and watch a screen of an AI avatar preaching is gonna be so crazy. I mean, dude, why go through the headache of booking a guest and paying a guest speaker when you could just have an AI avatar of yourself as a pastor preach a sermon that it made for you based on your previous sermons?
I mean, yeah. You'd save a lot of money.
Man.
Gosh, dude, that's just so wild to think about.
Yeah, because I mean, well, the way that, like, okay, the avatar in the German church like looked super artificial.
Yeah.
But the videos that I showed you in the beginning,
yes,
I feel like you could probably in the very near future basically upload a previous live stream that you've done as a pastor. And you could probably, either upload a sermon that you wrote or have ChatGPT create a sermon for you. And then like probably mesh it all together.
Yes. Yeah.
To where it didn't even look fake. It looked like you were really
Yeah.
You're like really preaching the message.
That is so crazy. I don't even know what to think about that yet. I've never thought about that within a church setting specifically.
Yeah, me neither. Because I feel like right now it's sort of AI is sort of just used as like a tool for researching.
Yeah.
Maybe like writing, creating like outlines for kids' church or curriculum, or service, stuff like that. It's all really just like organic. It's all like information gathering.
Yeah.
And putting together little outlines and stuff. But I bet you that's in the next few steps.
I mean, how do you think you would feel going to a service? Like, okay, let's say you go to a service, sit through the whole thing, and you listen to a sermon, and it was actually like a solid sermon.
Yeah.
Like, it's AI. Like, how does that? I don't really know what to feel about that, or what to think about that.
It'll be interesting to see how AI develops, like the sort of like the emotional side of the speech, because that's, I think, that like probably the only thing that's holding it back right now is you can kind of like tell most of the time when you're listening to AI, you can like most of the time you can like pick out where
it's just not like quite the
it's not
same.
quite human
yeah,
enough.
yeah,
But it's not that far off, I feel like.
yeah.
So
Right.
it'd be interesting to see like how it is able to take like a brand new sermon that it writes and then create the video and then create the audio for it to sound like, and that, I guess, this example that we're using to like really sound like it's your pastor delivering their sermon, like same inflection points, same like tones,
Yes.
same voice patterns. That I feel like is probably like one of the most challenging parts of it.
Yeah. Well, I think, okay, like in my brain, like if I could run an experiment
Mm-hmm.
and I could, like, say we have an AI that's capable of that, like you show this sermon, it's a pastor preaches a sermon, it's an amazing sermon, and you show this to a congregation, and without them knowing that it's AI, like they don't know. Okay, and then like they get through the whole thing, they think it's real, whatever, and like, you know, whether they thought it was good or not, then you tell, like, and let's say a lot of them like were moved. Say there's like an altar call, bro, and like all that. But then at the end of it, you tell them it's AI. Like, what would their reaction be? I mean, dude, like someone just had someone just had a spiritual experience, and then you tell them, yeah, that was actually an AI.
I mean, that's like existential crisis level. I mean, that could put like someone into
I feel like it would.
A serious existential crisis for wondering how they could be moved by something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that goes back to what I think I told you guys at Zorba's when we were eating on Friday before you left, about the study that they did where this university trained AI models to be Reddit users, and they went into all sorts of different forums like political, religious, ethical, all sorts of different ones, and they would respond to real people, like real Reddit users, but before they did that, they would basically go and the AI would like scan their whole page, all their previous comments, whatever, and it would like put together its response tailored based on what it knew that person would respond well to. And it would use that like to like try to manipulate that person to believe a different thing than what they were saying. And that it found that the majority of the time it worked, that they were able to shift that person's point of view because it knew so much about them.
Yeah.
And Reddit got so upset that they said that it crossed legal and ethical boundaries, that they like, I think, are trying to sue the university for doing that.
Dude, I mean, that's so wild. That's so wild. And that's an AI model that's publicly available to, at least to the university. So like if there is more advanced versions that like the government has or whatever, I mean, dude, that's scary to think about. But like going, like what I was gonna say about, it's like that whole experiment thing, right? The closest thing I can think of like to that now, like the closest example I can think of that now would be like someone who's in a cult and had like a spiritual experience from like, you know, some kind of ritual or thing from like the leader or whatever, and then like only later to find out that it was all like I don't know, manufactured, you know, like you know what I mean? Because I think I've heard Joe Rogan talk about this, about people who, and I think it's that the same guy who like he almost bought the building from that like had a cult. You know what I'm talking about? When he was looking to buy a building for his comedy mothership.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The
that
building he was
movie?
gonna buy that he almost bought was
Mhm.
like owned by a cult
Yeah.
before. And he was talking about like the whole thing to someone, I don't remember, but he was explaining how even the people who were in the cult and like years later they were interviewing him or whatever, like they like even though they know now that all of it was BS, like they would still say like I don't know why, but like those experiences felt like they felt spiritual, like they felt
Yeah.
real, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's just so interesting to think about like belief and what affects a person's belief, you know.
Mm.
Because like if you sit through a whole sermon and you feel like you're moved by the Spirit, and then afterwards you're told it's AI that did the sermon, like how much would that, like I just wonder how that would affect people.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't know how. I'm trying to think of like how would I feel.
I know, that's same.
I would almost feel like betrayed a little bit,
yeah.
and I would feel hurt, but also feel kind of scared.
Well, I feel like I feel like I
Also-
would be extremely confused.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, wait, but I just had this like spiritual experience, you know, like I
You
just
almost
went,
like start to question the value of that. I would almost
Yes.
question the validity of that spiritual experience.
yes, exactly.
Which
that can be like, I mean, dude, that's dangerous. That's like, that's scary to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta like end on a high note or something.
I used AI to pass an exam like 2 weeks ago, so.
I mean, the new Mission Impossible movie's coming out. And we're
True.
gonna see it.
True.
Dude, apparently that movie, Mission Impossible, and the new Lilo and Stitch movie, apparently it had the top grossing box office weekend like
Really?
ever, or like some kind of crazy record like that.
What?
Gosh, I feel like now I just have to get, every time I throw something out like that, I feel like I have to just get it right.
Lilo and Stitch, huh?
I haven't seen like too much on that movie. But I've seen a lot of stuff where, oh yeah, Memorial Day weekend. Holy crap. Okay, so in 2002, the original Lilo and Stitch made $145 million. Just this weekend alone, the new movie made $421 million.
No way. Holy crap.
And like the worldwide gross openings.
I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So the Mission Impossible movie grossed $221 million worldwide. It set a new opening day record for the franchise with almost $25 million. Okay, yeah, I was right. Okay, it was the biggest Memorial Day weekend in domestic box office history, with all films combining for a record-breaking $335 million. Wow, that's pretty wild.
That is pretty wild. I mean, I've heard pretty good reviews on it so far.
Yeah, Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, I have heard that it's long though.
Really?
Yeah, but it's like good throughout the whole thing. That's what my sister told me.
Hmm.
So
Any other interesting things you've been seeing on X lately?
I mean, there's so much. Have you seen the thing? It's not like necessarily new, but it kind of came up recently. It's like the video of the plane flying, and there's these orbs that come and like start circling around it,
Mm-mm.
and then it like the plane's flying and it keeps on circling, and then dude, it just like vaporizes. Plane disappears. Gone.
Is it like a passenger type plane?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I might.
And
have
it's
seen
from
it.
like some kind of military satellite camera or whatever.
Okay, I think I did
And,
see some
okay.
of that.
It's been like highly debated because a lot of people say it's real and a lot of people say it's fake, and it's like there's not really a clear answer. But
Do they know where it came from? Like originally?
I think it was a flight from Malaysia
Of
or
course.
something like that. Yeah, some country over there. And there is a flight like around that time that went missing, and no one knows what happened to the plane. And so then it was I only did like a small dive into it, but from what I understand is that this plane went missing. This is back in like 2014 or something, and then like a month or two later, someone released this video on Reddit from the satellite thing. Of the plane, like, have you ever seen the video?
Would you be able to find anything?
Yeah, I can pull it up pretty quick. It's a wild video.
I didn't
dude.
see it like disappear whenever I watched it.
Okay, yeah, it happens like at the very end. Yeah. Where is it? Dang it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay. Gosh, I wish I could like show this in the camera.
I know.
But so you see the plane flying, and you see these orbs come around it.
Oh. There's 1,
Yeah,
2,
and then 3.
3. Whoa.
And so for those who are listening, there's these kind of like UFO things circling around the plane. And then you'll see
What the heck? Bro.
it just like it's just gone. Like it just disappears.
There was like a puff of energy and it's
Yeah,
just gone.
yeah.
And the orbs are gone at the same time too.
Yeah.
Do they have like, do they know where the plane came from? Is it missing?
Yeah, I looked it all up. It's like there's like you can find the flight number and everything for the plane that went missing.
Mhm.
So then this video came out, and the guy on Reddit, and the guy was like claiming that it was that plane, but they don't know for sure because
Oh.
like you don't. Yeah. It was only tied. Like people are only tying it together because the plane went missing, and then that video came out, basically, right?
Dang.
So yeah. So then, and that was back, I want to say it wasn't. I don't know. It was like not long when the video first came out. It was kind of like debunked,
Mm-hmm.
but then recently it's kind of like come back up, and this is what I heard. I don't know, but apparently I think Joe Rogan talked about it or something, and I think like some people were like claiming that it was actually real, and that's why it's kind of like resurfacing. It is a wild thing though. Like there is the fact, I don't know if that video is real, but the fact that there was this plane from Malaysia that just disappeared and nobody knows what happened to it. Like that's real. You can look that up on the news. Like no one has any explanation of where this plane went.
Okay, is this like a new Malaysian flight? Because I know that there has been one like for a while that had gone missing.
It might be that one then. It's the only one I know of. I don't know. I could probably look it up really quick.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I know there's been like actual documentaries done about like a Malaysian flight that just mysteriously went missing.
Yeah, I think that might have been the one. Flight 370. With all 227 passengers and 12 crew aboard presumed dead, the disappearance of Flight 370 was the deadliest incident involving a Boeing 777. Despite extensive searches, including a recent search in the southern Indian Ocean, the primary wreckage of the plane has not been located. Some debris... Yeah, I mean... They're saying they found like some plane debris on like the coast of Africa and the Indian Oceans, but they don't know if it's that plane or not. But yeah, pretty insane. Jeez. I mean, the video is crazy.
The video is insane.
Yeah.
Sorry for that little teaser there. Those that are listening or watching.
There's crazy stuff all over X, bro.
I bet, dude. I bet.
Did you ever watch the Y-Files?
Yeah.
That guy just went on Joe Rogan.
Really?
Dude, it was actually a really interesting podcast.
Really?
Yeah. He talks about crop circles.
Okay, I've seen the thumbnail for like one of those
Okay.
videos.
I don't know like much of, I've never looked into crop circles ever, but when they're describing it, it's actually wild. Just saying how the way that they're made, it's not like they're not cut or anything, or they're not like just folded down. They're actually like the nodes of the crops are like actually weaved together. Oh my gosh. And so it's like these things that happen overnight, and some of them are like football fields big, but they're like perfect symmetry. The shapes are, it's like if someone, like who could do this in overnight?
Yeah.
You know, with perfect symmetry. And not just like, it's not just like cut or folded, like pushed down. It's like the crops are literally woven together. It's like so unnatural.
And there's like usually no traces of anyone like walking in and out or whatever.
Yeah.
Gosh, those are just difficult to explain away, man.
They get you. Yeah.
We always want to categorize them, man. Just throw them in a box.
Yeah. That was a good one. That was a good podcast. I watched that whole thing today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the flight back from Florida is like 3 hours.
Well, I watched it like when I got home, like over my lunch. I started it on my lunch break and just went through the whole thing.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you're pretty wiped from today.
Yeah.
So we can call it. But
it's Friday tomorrow, dude.
I know.
Pumped.
Me too. Well, thank you so much for listening. Appreciate you tuning in to another episode of the Second Floor Experience podcast. Thanks for sticking with us, sticking by us. And we will catch you on the next episode of the Second Floor Experience. Peace.
I want to talk to you. Not now. Later. No, now.